I have a feeling it might go the way of Big, but of course, being a Brit, I am going to be as delusional as we were during the last World Cup and tell everybody that it's coming home.
All right, and then I'm going to have the more logical standpoint. I'm going to be predicting Big to win this. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, it's going to be a belated birthday gift to Santaris. His birthday was yesterday. So congratulations to him. I'm not exactly sure how you say happy birthday in Turkish, but congratulations to my man Santaris. Hopefully he'll have a big game. We are live now on Vertigo. The first of potentially 3 maps.
But then again, if Endpoint win, then it's a late birthday present to me because it was my birthday 6 days ago. So that's more important, obviously, although I do like Santaris a lot. So happy birthday to him. But we are going into the first pistol round of the DreamHack Open Summer. I have to say, I'm so glad to have some Counter-Strike back, and I hope everybody at home is going to be enjoying themselves here. Surreal, he's going to look for that opener. A lot of support from Mighty Max. The flashbang is solid as well. Already, it's actually the nade to find the first kill, but the trade from Searson is quick. However, the rotation already coming back in from the CT side. It's become a little bit awkward, so much so the bomb's gone, Risk. It's running back all the way towards that A side.
Tizian now with a 1v4. Too low HP though, so it's not entirely impossible, but it will be a tough task for him to complete. Most importantly, just getting the bomb down. That one will be secured. Question is, can he hold this one off?
Yeah, the chances seeming slim. He's going to try and get a little bit more aggressive, but just get spammed through the smoke. It's Robin to find the first round for Endpoint. But of course, a bomb plant in a 1v4 really isn't that bad. They've earned a little bit of extra cash. I'm glad to see Endpoint at least get off to what I would say is a reasonable start. Dependent on whether or not we do see an investment here from Big, they might just try and get the AKs in a little bit early and maybe juggle them around and try and do some damage there. But this is a map that they've been pretty happy to play. I think there's a lot of teams still within Counter-Strike that will avoid a Vertigo, but there are also the teams which I quite like to consider the grinders who have picked this map up, and they've probably played it maybe more than anyone over the last few months. Endpoint having an insane amount of maps on record, like over 100 over the last few months. So they're definitely competent on this map. It's just whether or not they can face off against a team like Big.
28 of them on Vertigo, so this is definitely a map they know how to play. Big, of course, also playing it a decent bit, so 9 for them. Not really one of the worst ones, but still. This will be the chance for Endpoint to make the upset happen and bring themselves at least one map home in this series. Searson with the Scout, as we know. One of the best players in the world with this weapon. Will pick off Mighty Max to begin with, alongside the 2 Galils in the AK. But here is Thomas, picking up a single one and Crucial with the nade. 3v3.
Looking at the buys, it does seem like the T side have actually come in with a better purchase than their opposition here. So the 3 SMGs might have a bit of a tougher task. The main benefit, though, all that utility, and they still have 3 incendiaries to try and hold back this tank. One well placed, but they're actually going to go pushing through it. It is the kill on Taquito as he cooks at the back, trying to make the rotation around the side. And with 40 seconds left, they do have to try and get the bomb towards the site. Sontares retrieving an AK-47, and of course, Searson still only on the glass cannon Scout. So definitely not the best circumstance, and are they really going to try and run this all the way back to B? I wonder if this is a bait. It is. Sontares just trying to fake out the defense. I think he's done it relatively well.
They're definitely not exactly sure what's happening, but now Robin is coming in with the MP9 as well. Molotov goes down. Surely this is going to be a plant, but Surreal, can he deny it? Not long to go. 5 seconds. He has to get the spawn down right now. The CTs have to push in. He will get it down, and Santaris taken out. Now Searson with the Scout.
He's just got to connect these shots, but of course, not having any armor, this is going to be very difficult. Both players now low, though, and he's retrieved the M4, spamming through. He's going to catch out Surreal, but Robin is there with the trade. It's a little bit too close for comfort, and well, the question I'm asking now, Risk, you kill 4 players, you get a bomb down again. You have even more money than last time. You buy again?
I think it's possible. Definitely with Searson and his ability with the Scout. He can drop an AK over, get a Scout dropped himself. I think it's a fair call. It's a 50-50 in my opinion. You can decide for and against it, and it's going to be the Tech 9s instead. Taps it down to 1200. Endpoint with a 2-0 start.
Just about. Just about. A little bit close for comfort. And the worry for me is that Big definitely can use those pistols. Sees on Tara's with the Deeg many a time, pulling up clips that make absolutely no sense. Quite an aggressive hold into mid this round. I think something that T-side are clearly trying to work on. Nice work from Thomas, though. He and Robin combine to farm up these remaining kills. So 4 players alive. That round was definitely needed for Endpoint to at least give them a little bit of buffer in terms of economy. But now the pressure comes back on. This is where the rifles are in play, the AWP as well for Sis. And that's probably one of the main reasons they did actually save, is realizing, oh, he can actually just buy an AWP in the next round. And I'm never going to be the man to deny them an AWP.
Very nice group up as well from Endpoint after they hear the first footsteps, put down the Molotov. 4 players actually swarming that mid after they get the information. So very nice rotations coming out of Endpoint to catch Big off guard. Oh, and Robin begins through the smoke. Santara's taken out. And ramp control here taken by the CTs. The T side, they cannot get anywhere close. Citizen is trying to spot with the AWP, but can't really see anything. So CT side will hold it for now. Good beginning to the round for them.
I think this is one of those matches we have to mention as well. Like, if there was going to be any time for an upset of the world #1 against a team who, I would say that maybe the ranking outside the top 40 is a bit harsh. I think that with the amount of tournaments that they can't necessarily play, it's very difficult to tell maybe like the top 25 all the way down to like 40 odd apart too much. Like, they can definitely win battles against each other. I think Forza are a great example of that. If you look at the rankings, they're currently 28, recently lost to Endpoint. So it's not like, I don't think there's as much of a distance as maybe you'll see within the rankings, but even still, there's a big drop off from Big. But they know themselves that obviously how quickly you can rise up, a tournament win or two, and well, they've managed to get to #1 in the world after just a few months of working together as a squad.
That's very interesting. Okay. 1 for 1, that's fine, with an MP9.
Yeah, Robin's actually going to deny another 2 as well. This has gone very well. The early start from them is setting themselves up nicely on the CT side as well. And that's something that, again, like, you look at Vertigo, a lot of the time we talk about how effective that T side can be. But I guess with Endpoint playing so many maps of Vertigo at this point, they know the sort of map control they need to be taking. Yeah. And if anything, they would have been playing against far more aggressive teams. You look at the sort of tier 2 CIS squads as rosters you have to play against week in, week out. They're going to be pushing everything. So I feel like there's not too much that Big can throw at Endpoint that they're not at least going to be expecting. It's just whether or not they can stop it.
Yeah, and you're completely bang on the money, because like we saw in the round before with the mid pressure and then the mid rotations as well. This round, Endpoint, they start off with some heavy pressure towards the ramp, hold that one down easily, also get a semi-lucky frag through the smoke as well. So Endpoint, they know exactly what they're doing on the CT side. There's no question about it. Totally ready for what Big has to throw at them. And that's one of the things that Big coach Toby also mentioned in the interview, was that they take this match pretty seriously. They're not going to underestimate Endpoint. And if they are not underestimating Endpoint, they have to be ready for this Vertigo. They have to know that they know how to play this map. They're definitely one of the better teams on it in that tier CS.
I will admit though, I've never heard people really say the latter. Like I've heard people say, oh yeah, we didn't really like look too much into them. But I've never heard a team go, oh yeah, no, we completely underestimate our opponent. They suck. Like you're obviously going to give a little bit over. So I do wonder the level of preparation that Big have actually put into this one, or if they were asked that question, if they've gone, yeah, we're just going to play our own game, you know, we're focusing on ourselves. And then I'll be like, okay, so you haven't looked at Endpoint at all.
Let's see how it shapes up. The smoke will go down, but it's not blocked for Surreal, so a little gap there for him. Santaris, you mentioned him, you mentioned his Deagle, but it won't be the 1 frag this round, which of course was the eco with the saved AWP. Now it's time for another buy. Sursen is only on 3650, so that will be a problem for him. But it will be a 4-weapon buy for Big.
Yeah, I will say, if they're going to win this series, Endpoint, they have to take Vertigo. Like, looking at the next 2 maps, like, I was maybe expecting even Mirage to be picked as Blessing. I think Dust 2 would have ended up as a 3rd map anyway. So I think we've got the maps expected. The worry for me is I'm not sure there's a world where Endpoint can take either of the next 2. So I think they need the momentum at least from a Vertigo. And I think this is one of the lesser played maps for Big as well. So an opportunity, but they have still beaten some top teams on it. So it's not like it's going to be an easy road. They've got off to the strong start, which I think they needed. And they built up a reasonable amount of economy as well, both Thomas and Robin over $8,000. And on the other side, well, Searson's still playing with a scout.
Yeah, this is so cool. So they hear the two Molotovs on the opposite side, and just as that happens, two CTs push down the ramp to smoke it off. First smoke fades, and they do a second smoke now, so they'll have like 40 seconds to take ramp and control the bomb side. So Endpoint really playing aggressive CT right now on the back of the information that they're getting of Big's plays. Now, 48 to go, the smoke has faded, but they have to find Mighty Max first, and he's ready for this.
Bit of an awkward spray. And actually, he's going to get wall banged through the elevator door. It doesn't do as much damage as you might have expected hearing a dink sound. In fact, he's going to be healthy as. But look at the aggression once again. It's going to be Thomas. He only manages to get one, but he's done a lot of damage and found out where the opponents are going to be moving. And in fact, they're going to wrap into the hands of Crucial. We haven't seen this AWP have to do much, if anything, as of yet, but he's going to find the pick. And now the teaser somewhat in no man's land as they're going to go walking back into the site. Mighty Max, they know, is still at the bottom of the ramp, but he's not going to overface it. He's being calm, collected, waiting for his teammates to come back around, something that I absolutely love to see because it would have given much more of a chance for Big if he'd faced in this scenario. Instead, Big themselves are going to have to try and get aggressive. Tabson with the first kill. Crucial versus Searson's going to be a big battle. And Crucial just goes running past. He doesn't expect Searson to be this aggressive. Now it's left onto Surreal and Mighty Max as this slowly dwindles down to just one. Max looking to try and finish the job he started off, facing off against the AWP of Searson. Just going to get on that defusal. He does have the kit available to him, but he's waiting for the peak. It doesn't matter, though. A 2v4 to kick off their first round, and Searson comes out with an AWP.
I love the confidence in Searson in this situation where, like, he knows he's in a tough position where he's going to face mid to close range battles, but he still switches out for the AWP because he just knows that in almost every single duel, he's going to be the best player with that weapon. I love that going in. Even though they're behind like 0 to 5, he still has the confidence to switch up to what weapon he thinks is best, despite the current scenario of the round. That just shows something. Even though they're behind, they still have that confidence going. And the first round is on the board for Big. 6 frags for Searson, 140 ADR. Thomas on the other side, 150, but it's early days still. Surely none of these two players are going to be able to hold that.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite names, Thomas. I can't think why, though.
Yeah, we don't have any pro players named Niels. Only NATO Safix, but he has another like part of that name added on sometimes.
Yeah, and I do think that NATO Safix is a slightly cooler name than
that
Niels.
is true. That is true. I can't really deny that. Money is getting kind of low.
Pushing down towards the ramp.
Oh, Searson almost getting the wallbang done. Robin pushing through the smoke for some reason, and the firing squad is there. So Tars is ready, doubling up, and double entry towards the ramp. That was what was working so nicely for Endpoint before, but now it's a chance for Big to get onto the bomb site.
Wonder if they expected that many players to be waiting behind the smoke. It was a big risk for Robin, and Zontares has come online. These are the sort of rounds that we like to see the man himself. And well, yeah, this is looking like a fadeaway for the remaining 2 players. Money is not good, and considering they won 5 rounds in a row, that's a bit of a worrying sign for Endpoint. But at least these 2 weapons give them a little bit more of a chance. But that just seems like to me that Big have just almost woken up. Like that round, something to get the blood pumping a little bit, the 2v4, and then Zontares goes, don't worry, guys, this one's all mine. We'll work out something maybe a little bit more strategical in the next round. For now, I'm just going to headshot everyone.
They might actually get the kills here. Crucial is hiding in the corner. They're going to spot him out now. 2 guys maybe facing. Yep, the AWP is down. Surreal all alone. Might actually be able to catch him too. The slight bonus for Endpoint despite losing the round. Ah, well, Surreal will get a couple of kills. And we'll save the AWP. So anyways, we'll bring 1 weapon into the next round. But look at the money. It's going to be an eco nonetheless. Money now all the way forced. And Big getting slightly more in control of the game. Let's just enjoy those entry facts. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, I think the first one was a little bit for free. I get what Endpoint are trying to do. I don't think they want to allow any map control, and the A ramp is always that point of contention. Speaking of contention, Crucial is going to be looking for the initial pick. You can see Surreal as well. He's got that little bit of utility, so they've left him as the solo B-site player just to try and slow any sort of push. But the moment, there's just a few nades being expended on that side of the map. So their early stack has somewhat dwindled. Big have done a good job of basically faking them out as the bomb still looks to go in the other direction.
Just clearing every single corner. Don't want to be surprised by a deagle or something lurking in the shadows. Just taking it cool, calm, and collected from the side of Big right now. They are going to face off against Crucial at some point. He's here with the AWP, saved from the last round. Double peek, almost works out, but the refrag will go in. Mighty Max now picking it up. Molotov out of position. Robin is still close range, but won't be able to get the shot.
Yeah, more of a cleanup round. This is now just Big, like, grinding their way back into this one, and pretty much all that we spoke about in the early rounds is starting to diminish. Of course, I'm not too worried for Endpoint just yet. Like, we've seen a couple of rounds where, sure, the 2v4 is something that if this series does end up going the other way, they'll probably look back on and go, okay, guys, how did we lose that one? Like, how did we not double up? Because it wasn't like there was even any, like, spray downs. It was just individual duels won by the side of Big. But realistically, at this point, still a good opportunity for them to break back. They've got off to a good start. They'll have enough money to buy into the next round. And, well, on the other side of things, the cash isn't crazy. Like, it's going to get a lot better after this round with 4 players surviving, but it's not something that can't be broken, I guess you could say.
Okay, everything's still up in the air. Endpoint, they just need to get a couple of those rounds, like clutch scenarios or like triple entry, as we just saw Santaris, and then the other team just straight saving. They need to get a couple of those rounds on the board, and then we'll have a really, really good game on our hands. But it is tough. Like, they're against a tough team right now, so let's just wait and see if they can get it done. Full set for Big. Everyone has the correct weapon. Everyone with full utility. On the other side of things, Endpoint missing a bit with a FAMAS with an MP9.
Crucial looking to be a little bit more proactive into middle this round. And, well, as we've seen previously, this MP9 might not be too much of a burden if they are going to get as aggressive as they have been down the ramp. Nice timing from Crucial, though. That's an opening onto Tizzy, and no possibility of a trade as he was somewhat alone. The main challenge is still going to be onto this ramp, but with already 1 smoke expended, I do wonder if they're going to utilize a second one just to deny them a little bit longer. It does seem like Robin is lining that up right about now, so probably just going to try and whittle down the time as much as possible after their aggression hasn't been as successful over the last few rounds.
Oh, okay, interesting. A little timing there, but Sirsan not going to hit the shot anyway. They now know the position of the AWP. So Robin and the boys can kind of rotate into a position where they can eventually get a timing off with a flashbang when the T's are moving up. Mighty Max will push on the flashbang timing, but yeah, Sirsan and the boys are totally ready for it.
And that's all that Big really need to do at the moment, it seems. Just be patient, and eventually Endpoint are going to give them the duel that they desire. I think that's where we're always going to give Big that advantage, is just on the man-for-man basis. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Zontaris has spotted everything. He's going to round the corner. He actually shoots the top man first. I think if you shoot the man at the bottom, the other comes tumbling down. Maybe didn't quite know exactly where the other player was, and actually Crucial found Tabson through the smoke. This is now looking like a possibility. 10 seconds left on the clock. They have to go for the bomb plant. The peek comes in, but it's not denied. It gives Searson a chance, but in such an aggressive position, such a hard angle, he needs to just hit this instant shot, and Crucial trying his best to close the gap, close the distance, get right up in the face of this AWP. Both players just not actually finishing their dinner at this point. Searson not taking any shots, and he's going to have to go for the pistol. Eventually, it's the no-scope from Searson to close it. And close, but no cigar for Endpoint.
Oh, once again, a heartbreaking round for Endpoint, where they get so close to the line and they just...
Wait, Zontaris didn't even get that kill?
Yeah, that's true. What a no-scope. Nicely done.
I didn't even realize he headshotted him through the top of whatever it is, the metal sheeting, I guess.
That's a new word for me. Robin and the boys with pistols for now. Endpoint. Not gonna look to invest too much into this round. Getting a decent loss bonus, so 1600 will be enough. Robin with the spam spot, but not able to do any damage to Tizian.
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah, now it's gonna work.
Oh no, left a bit.
I don't think you can hear it, Tom. I'm sorry.
If he can, then then we have some issues. Maybe in a couple of minutes' time, someone from Endpoint could be like, oh, you needed to be left a bit.
Santaris getting once again towards this position, getting a lot of his inter kills from here. Robin will be taken out. It's actually Keto to do the entry for this time around. Double entry for him, nicely done against the pistols. Not the biggest of challenges, but still, every little bit matters.
Yeah, this round again, only pistols for Endpoint, so the chances of anything really happening here are slim. They do have the maximum loss bonus, so if anything, just doing some extra damage would be nice. And again, the money's still not insane for Big after the last few rounds were close, but realistically, I think at this point they're not going to care. They're already dragging things back from a 5-0 deficit to evening things up. A little bit of a slow start for the German, well, +1 roster. Then again, I can't really talk. I've been calling this a British roster for the whole game, and I don't plan to change that at all.
There's a Swede and a Dutchman in there, so...
Well, it's like Mad Lions with their Polish roster. You know?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's going to be interesting. But then again, like Robin has been in the UK scene for so long that he's practically a UK citizen now.
Well, that's something I always say. It's like the Brits love to just adopt someone as their own. Yeah, it's like if people watch tennis, Andy Murray, if he wins, he's English. He's British. If he loses, he's Scottish. Like I played.
Oh, I was absolutely sure
that was the Scottish side of him.
Okay. 2 new things learned today. There we go.
Well, you didn't know he was Scottish?
No, I have no idea. I don't really follow tennis that much either.
Oh, I love it. That is the marketing of the UK.
Yeah.
If he wins, he's a Brit. He's one of us. It's like, no, the Scottish Andy Murray lost today.
Crucial will be pushed back here by the Mollo. Very nicely put to get that one down, just to deny that aggressive angle in the mid with the AWP. Keto on the other side of things. Crucial though, nice shot onto Tizian. Rotating back, very nicely done. Just getting that frag, getting to play that advantage situation, and then Mighty Max in the middle of everything misses the timing because Santaris was so far up in his face. Flash timing is not going to work out, but Thomas with the refrag.
Thomas went a bit quiet for the last few rounds. I believe he was 8 and 5 for maybe 3 or 4 rounds, but he's got back onto the scoreboard, shutting down Zontaris, who has been a bit of a menace around this A ramp. They've left an aggressive position with Robin, but I think he's realizing that maybe this isn't a challenge worth taking. Timing going to be everything. He spotted one, but Keto's so fast to make sure that trade doesn't go any further. 40 seconds left on the clock, and now Thomas is going to take the place of his fallen comrade. Maybe something that won't be expected. And in fact, again, we're going to see nades being lined up. The first one's for free, and the second one's all too easy. Thomas back on the board, and so are his team.
11-4 right now, Thomas. Actually, the top fragger in the server. Not something that I would have expected with players like Susan, like Tizian, like Tabson joining them. So nicely done by Thomas, making things possible for Endpoint on their map of choice. Smoke pretty standard to start the round to deny this early ramp pressure, then the flash timing, and the Molotov deep in, so they can take this. So actually, they missed the flash timing on the first one, but Mighty Max will get it in the second try. Oh, nice damage. Susan down to 34 through the smoke.
Those Robin also down to 17.
Yeah, it's a trade. I'll take it.
And that's something we've actually seen a bit more, you mentioning Thomas, because I remember when he stood in for the crazy roster, which of course has since become Contact. Yep. In that team, he was thrown into a supportive role. And I spoke to him a bit while we were there. in Atlanta, and he was basically saying he was happy to sacrifice anything for the team. Now it actually seems more of the opposite in this roster. Like, I think there's much more of a balance. In fact, I would even put him as probably the star player within this team, at least in my opinion. Like, you got the likes of Crucial as well, who can pop off, but if I'm looking at the man who needs to be consistent, Thomas is the one to look at. And although in this match in particular, I think that we expect a lot more from the opponents, I think going forward in the tournament that there are definitely teams that they could beat. Nonetheless, we are going to have this push coming into the site. Once again, it's this A-ramp take that has been so successful for Big, and Searson peeking around the angle. I want to say there's been a lot of utility damage and Molotov kills coming out from Endpoint, which, well, clearly they're placing their nades well. It's unfortunate that the rest of the duels don't seem to be going their way.
Yeah, it's rough when Santaris just goes out and clicks you through a smoke. There's nothing really you can do against that. But he's so good at just like knowing the 3-4 positions, even though there's a smoke in front of him. So you can just spam like those 4 positions, and eventually, if the CTs are caught off guard, he will get a kill. He's just a phenomenal player, Santaris. I think alongside with almost everyone in the scene, was so hyped when he was allowed to experiment outside of a Turkish team and go onto an international roster, so he could try his luck amongst the very best in the world, and he has done that very well.
I think excited and a little bit sad. Because I still have those sort of reminiscent moments of that Space Soldiers roster. I think him and Calyx as like a duo is something that I always like hold fondly in my heart. Just like them in Drop Down on Cobblestone, just playing together. Like it would just be the 1-2 punch. And I think they were one of the deadliest duos in Cobble. And it does seem like when Cobble got removed, Space Soldiers also evaporated, which is a shame. And we haven't really seen like a top tier Turkish roster since. And I don't know if we will for a while, because sure, I'm sure there's talent coming through, but just combining it all together, getting all the right players in the right place. Of course, Calyx still off in North America at the moment playing with Envy, so it may not happen for a time, but I hope we eventually do get like a top tier Turkish team, and maybe even a combination with Woxic in there. That would be badass. Like, they've got the talent, it's just not in the right place.
Yeah, that would be sick. I still remember the early days of CSGO when the Space Soldiers team would venture to Copenhagen Games every single year. Despite not really doing that well in the tournament, they would always come back to get that LAN experience. And you can see where that LAN experience has taken the scene. Because now you have players in the upper echelons of international CS. And yeah, of course, would still be super fun to have an all-out Turkish team. But for now, I think we have to be satisfied with Santaris being on a #1 team in the world, Woxic being on another great team, and of course Calyx over there in NA.
It's about to get a bit dicey for Mighty Max. He's been caught a few times now at the top of that ramp. I think Zontares has realized that that's a duel he can win a lot of the time, and it leaves the rest of his team a little bit hung out to dry. Robin, again, just trying to play on the edge, but it's clear for Big that there's going to be players around this angle. You can also see that Endpoint are starting to gamble a little bit more. They've again just left Surreal over on that B site alone. There haven't been too many wrap backs, but as I mentioned, that bomb does look like it might be starting to go in the other direction. And in fact, even Surreal is starting to question if they've made a play into mid instead. So they might just have got into the heads of Endpoint at the perfect moment.
Yeah, that Molotov didn't work out at all. So now they have to double check that angle with the secondary. Smokes and flashes, and a Molotov will rain down, but Seaside will be rotating back. And as you were talking about it, the plays now coming in, and Surreal is in the right place in the right time, but flashed off completely. We'll catch one though. Here's the bomb going down. Can you find the frag? No, it will go down, and now Surreal is in a tough spot.
Oh, he's going to get wrecked as well by Searson. He did buy some time for the rest of his team to rotate in, but the frag's just going in the other direction. Tamsin combining as he gets his second already, leaving it just onto Crucial, who's not going to connect the shots. There's a couple of low players, but he needs to start hitting them, and unfortunately, Zontares just doesn't go down. AWP will be retrieved. Big now take the lead for the first time in this game after, again, as said, a 5-0 deficit to start. And well, if they go in like 8-7, 9-6, I think they're going to be relatively happy with that.
Oh, yeah. And so once again, Santaris is just like getting important frags, both in the beginning and the end of the round. Really showing a lot. And he's been one of those players that, during the high points of their online success in the months before the summer break, he wasn't really one of the top players in my opinion, but we all know that he can be up there, and he's one of the better interfraggers on the higher tiers of CS, and he's showing it in this game.
Oh, this round once again, unfortunately for Endpoint, is mostly going to be pistols, but I think they have started to realize that, well, it's basically just ramp being challenged in the early stages of the round. So, although there is a flank being held, okay, we got there in the end. Crucial got the kill. That's all that really matters. Now they have to worry a little bit about their flank, and because of that, the rest of the team have been able to rotate in towards this site. Nice shot from Keto. In fact, the second one as well, just decimating the defense, and it's going to allow for the bomb to at least move over. In fact,
yeah,
are they actually going to dedicate to this?
Secondary smoke right side put down, and then a high flashbang from Keto. Yeah, there we go, and then the bomb's going to go down. The flanks are going to be held left and right by Orb and AK. The flash actually messing up Sursen a little bit, so not as coordinated as you would want, but the bomb goes down anyway, so they're very happy with this big. They're going to hold this post-plant. Keto will be very, very important here. Once again, a high flashbang, but doesn't really work that well. Only catches one, and now it's all on Surreal.
Not going to happen this time. I think Searson probably shot about 15 AWP bullets in that round, but eventually he's going to finish his dinner. And I don't think they ever looked like they broke a sweat. These shots were really nice. I think the timing worked out well. Even gets Thomas at the end of that, which I'll be honest, I didn't even think he hit anything there. It was so quick with that headshot. But they have made the comeback, and that's what we want to see. Like, big, slow start, but they're grinding things back on the T side. Although I would love to see Endpoint at least take themselves a map. I think it's important just for the integrity of the tournament that we see Big at least giving a good showing in this first matchup, because they are the favorites in here. And while Surreal, that is not what we want to be seeing.
Yeah, such a nice nade stack, I really have to say. Very nicely coordinated. Oh, Keto running headshot. Removes Crucial from the equation. Holds the angle as well. Santara's holding from behind. This is all done. The first half is over, Thomas. There's nothing left.
Yeah, Thomas is caught within the smoke. I don't even think he realizes that he is basically surrounded by players, and well, now his whole team has gone a 1 versus 5 from within the smoke. It is not going to be happening, Risk. However, we are going to be heading off to a short break, as there will be a little bit of a gap between Endpoint having their 5-0 start and maybe closing this out in the second half.
Roll
Welcome back to more Counter-Strike action. We are ready to go with the second half of Vertigo, Big versus Endpoint. Can Big complete the picture, or will Endpoint do another 5-round in a row start to this second half? We're gonna find out and see. Lots of flashbangs from the T side. And Tizian ready with his counter nade. Not a lot of damage though.
A little bit disappointed. I was hoping that would be a big damage nade. They do, however, have another one.
Let's see. Let's hope.
Oh, it should do. If he throws it deep, it should actually do a hell of a lot of damage. And Robin's gonna catch that one almost in his pockets. The Real gets an opening pick while blind. And now the push continues. The Real's going to take a second, and Tizian's very low within this smoke. He still manages a fadeaway kill at least before he goes down. But now we're back into a 1v4. 1v4. Zantares is already dead. And now Searson needs to work some magic, and it's not going to happen this time. So Endpoint will get the start at least. I do wonder if we are going to see a force buy, though, coming up for the CT side in this position.
Yeah, usually the T side from Big is where they get the most of their rounds. So CT only accounts for 43.75% of their rounds. So we're gonna have to see a little bit more than what we usually do for Big on this one. Endpoint gonna be buying up. Big on the other side of things, of course, the scout on Searson, and then you know you can't really count this round out because we've seen him before do impossible things with this weapon.
Quite started out the way would have liked, but he is going to tag one player at least. Quite the hero round we were hoping for, but there has been a reasonable amount of damage already done to Endpoint rosters on Tares. Even going to hit a tag on his peek back in. Leaves now 2 players desperately low on the Endpoint squad. No?
Thomas won't take a lot of damage from that one, but the top fragger is already down to 33. Mighty Max on 4 HP. Now Big. Can they hold this one off? 2 players towards the ramp. Now slowly getting company from the rest of the team. 4 players now in the vicinity. Crucial just holding his angle. Slowly but surely moving up. They do have smokes and molotovs and everything to take this side. The question is, how much damage are Big going to be able to do through the smoke?
Oh, nice start from Thomas. Opener goes his way. Tabson will at least be able to take one with him before he falls, but it's left on to Tizian. He's lurked his way through the edge of the smoke and somehow managed to get a way back through it. Worth mentioning Thomas's tag, but it doesn't matter. Finds a shot through. Keto with 2, though. 1 more needed, and there's only 4 seconds. He gets all of them. That is filth. This man's been having a great game, but that's disgusting.
That is insane from Keto. What a play coming out with the deagle. And we have to say, once again, these rounds are dangerous. It was not due to Zantares. It was not due to Searson with the scout. It was Keto with the deagle.
How? That second shot, like, I'm looking at the replay knowing there's someone there and still can't see what he saw. Yeah. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Like, Endpoint get that into a pretty strong position, a chance to build back, and the defense has just pummeled them back into the ground. They are going to buy off of this and come in with a Galil and some pistols. The thing is, though, like, you talk about the statistics, we do then have to put in the caveat of that a lot of the time that is against top teams.
Yeah.
And, well, some of the weaker teams they've played, one that is a regular battle, we see Endpoint facing off against the likes of alternate attacks. That was a 16-3 win. That's nice, though, from Robin. Okay, he's going to spray down 2 in a matter of seconds and give them the man advantage. Keto is still alive, and he's under a lot of pressure here. Being surrounded, still gets the headshot onto 1, but now Zantares is all that remains.
1v2. And he will be shot out. Robin with a 4K to answer straight back. Nicely done by Endpoint. And Robin, specifically the resident Swede in the team. Doubles up in the middle, and then perhaps 2 more. Individual duels. That last one was disgusting. And now to, well, it's not really an eco because they're not saving any money, but it's only going to be pistols. Some head armor as well on 3 players. This is not impossible, but it is very unlikely for Big to get this round.
I don't know. After Keto won the last one, I would say that it's almost certain at this point. Not a bad start,
Well,
Sontaras. Headshot through the wall.
I'll take note, Tom.
I would be careful. I'd be careful, Risk, with your... It's very unlikely to happen in this sort of series. Nice shot from Thomas, though. Clearing the headshot angle. How is Sontaras still alive? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Oh, dear. Oh, no.
Yeah, now they're going to get an AK as well. On Keto with head armor. So that's once again a big chance for Keto to get something done here. 2 players on the bomb site. Nade will be good on Sontaras, but Sirsen is still here. Thomas will drop down at his feet. Sirsen catches in midair almost. So 3v2 post plant. This is definitely doable. Mighty Max 39 HP.
Now, the one thing really in the favor of Endpoint here is the time. There's no kit on the opposing side. Mighty Max, he's going to spot a player closer. At least it seems he did. Almost gets caught dropping down, and there's 3 players trying to face him at once. He's got the support, though. And now left him versus Tabson, who is going to retrieve that AK. I think he's realized there's not enough time on the clock. So Endpoint just about managed to get that one through. I do fear if there was a kit in play, we really could have seen that round go in the other direction. Some heroics once again from Keto, but also the amount of damage that Sontaras was able to get away with in the early portions of that round.
Yeah, also the damage on the economy for Endpoint. Like, we look at their money now, we see 2 players absolutely down to the brink. Robin is going to have maybe like 500 bucks left, so this is definitely not a good situation for Endpoint despite winning the round. And Big once more with one of these rounds where they shouldn't be able to do anything, but they have proven so far that these are the rounds that they can make stuff happen in. So let's wait and see.
See an early nade stack. I do love this boost. It is a filthy angle, but it is one that we've seen checked by a lot of different players, and Thomas is looking for it. So I think you can always tell a team that regularly like plays Vertigo and has like strategically thought out their process, but just the peaks onto those little angles. Now you have to remember Tamsin does still have an AK, and Tamsin with an AK is dangerous. Damn, can't even finish the sentence before he rips off a second head. 3 remain. Again, Thomas is low.
This is nice. So if they go above the smoke now, he'll be able to get a free frag, but Surreal is just staying put. Molotov won't burn Tabson, but will force Sirsen away from the position. Still not taking any damage, but no kit either. Tabson with head armor going in for the duel. Yeah, Surreal will win it. Surely now, round's over. It's going to be a 10-10 game. And 3 players surviving from Endpoint. 22 frags on Thomas.
This is the stuff you like to see, just like angles being checked. He's having a very good game as well, which, as said, it was somewhat needed, especially with like Max having a bit of a quieter performance. Like we can see that he's a lot of the time the man taking a fair amount of the risks for his team, like with how aggressive he was on the ramp. Oh dear, speaking of risky, an underarm nade, which actually means that Keto's gone already. Look at the rotation as well from Big. They've gone all in. Like, Endpoint have barely even moved after that kill. And they were fully rotated, at least for a second. But Endpoint happy to just be a bit more patient here.
It seems like they were expecting a mid-B split when that early play came towards the stairs. But now rotated back into a 2-2 split. Tizian has not had a good game either. So we're going to be looking towards him to get something done here. That's not what we wanted to see. Unfortunate for Tizian. Sontaras and his teammate pushing in aggressively. What about the second guy? His captain will get 1, but that's still a 2-for-1 for the T side, and that's a trade they'll be happy to make any day of the week. And Sirsen 1v4. Crucial gets the kill off screen.
Yeah, taking the lead back. And the other thing as well is, as we mentioned, like we give this over to the T side quite regularly, especially if a team doesn't necessarily play a whole bunch. But I think the thing that worried me after that first half was having such a good start for Endpoint and then it's slipping away. I was thinking, okay, maybe now we just see them get steamrolled by Big, but they've had some slip-ups already in this second half, but they have reacted well. They're definitely playing with confidence, and I think we're seeing the individual skill of some of these players. And, well, Big have definitely got a game on their hands now. A round down on the worst side of the map, and at least for now, they're on a, well, half by eco, really.
Yeah, not a lot of chances here unless some ridiculous deagle one tap is going to be thrown Endpoint's way. That can happen, but just wait and see. Keto with a flash frag will get Crucial down, but still the pressure's on here from the mid position. Molotov thrown and then rotation all the way back through spawn. Of course, coming to join Surreal and Mighty Max on the opposite end of the map where no CTs are currently. A rotation is coming in from 3 players actually, but might be just in time. Okay.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, no, how does Tabson get 2 there? The first one was a nice shot, but the spam actually nets him a second. This is a round that Endpoint can't afford to let slip away. Money's at least not in a bad state, but more important for their mental fortitude to have another round lost with pistols. Keto so well placed, and Max is reloading while peeking into the open. It's left onto Thomas, already with 24 kills, a little bit healthier than we normally see him. And in fact, is he going to fake this? Are we going to see this again? He's running the gauntlet. Oh, this time it's for real. He is going to go for the full push into the B site.
So they're going to be ready for this. He has to smoke down, but I don't think he'll have time. Position is already there on the site, can just go in and get the frag. Stephanie tries to put down the bomb. Very nicely done for Big. 2 kills from Keto, I have to say. The first one and then the second one in the back of the opposition, making so much chaos happen. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and after some solid starts from both Searson and Zontares, it is now Keto right at the top of the board for his team. 20 kills, having a great performance. Again, one of the latter additions, I guess you could say, to this team. And again, showing how that almost completely revolutionized this squad. And it was something like previously, I think you were there as well, when we were speaking to one of the managers of Sprout. Those were the players that they did not want to lose. They were like, no, it's not happening this time. Well, it happened, and now Big are rank 1 in the world, so there might be a little bit of bitterness there. But I guess as a German, you probably have to feel pretty good about the fact that this team has managed to do so much. Yeah. This round, though, early trade. Keto has also done some damage onto Surreal, however, and well, a pretty, I was going to say crucial round, but I'm going to switch the word to important just to avoid the pun. Because both teams' economy is kind of trash.
Sissy with 32 is the richest player on the server, and he'll be the only one with enough economy to buy a weapon. But Centaurus, he doesn't care about buying, he cares about the frags, and he's got another one onto the bank. Sissy's position, will it be shown? And now with the smoke as well. They know he's there, they should be ready for it, but he's allowed to get a frag. And that's a decent trade. 2v2 now. 42 seconds to go. Smoke lands. There's a little gap to the left side. Counter Molotov as well cannot be planted yet. Nicely done by Robin. Searson, no. With the orb. Close range. No scope here. Nah.
Not quite. Not given the opportunity to do so. And well, now we do start to worry again for Big. They managed to get another on the board off of the back of some powerful pistol play. But then in the rifle rounds, well, yeah, I guess that's the best way to say it. In the rifle rounds, Endpoint have looked better in this second half.
Yeah, we definitely need to see Big get 1 or 2 rifle rounds like strung together, because so far it has been on the back of individual results in these kind of half-buy, semi-buy rounds, or someone getting deagle armor, then getting an AK and doing something with it. So we need to see more consistent play in the rifle rounds for Big to call this one. It's so close right now, and Endpoint still has a very big chance of making the upset of getting this map. A map against the #1 team in the world right now, we have to mention. Once again, even though, yes, this is online CS, and yes, things are divided up into regions, Big still got that #1 spot.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, we don't have the likes of Cologne. That would have been awesome if they then got to go and defend that #1 title.
Imagine Big being #1 in front of like 15,000 people in Lanxess Arena. I'm actually
imagine them winning.
Impressed just hearing that.
Let's move away from that. I don't want to be sad.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike's back. That's what we need to focus.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, that's true. It's sunny outside. The weather's nice. I don't care. I'm inside watching some stuff.
I'm inside. My window's closed.
Yes.
I have the artificial air of my air conditioning blowing into my face.
Yeah, we don't have
That's
that
all
in
I need.
Denmark. It's just not usually this warm in this country, so.
Yeah, that's why one of the things I really love about Ukraine is they've just gone, well, why would we be hot? Let's just put in these systems to stop that from happening. And in the UK, they're like, what's air conditioning?
This is nice. Nice nade. Crucial down to 52. And once again, we're going to have to see some heroics come out of Big because their investment in this round is not very good. They have stacked 3 players on the bomb side, and Santaris will guarantee the first frag. Now the whole T side is coming in. They're gonna barrel in onto this bomb side despite spotting someone. And they're not getting the bomb down just yet. They're still holding on the CTs. Ooh.
All right, bit of a pre-fire angle. How many times is Keto gonna get a kill from behind with the Deagle? I'm starting to lose count.
How has Tapson survived?
Well, it shouldn't be for much longer, but look how low a couple of the players are. Thankfully, the one healthy man left on the roster in the form of Robin is there to close this one out. This is where the buy comes back in now. Again, this is a round that you have to look at Big and go, if you are going to be taking this first map, you have to win it. Yep. Otherwise, things are starting to really slip away from them.
Here we go, Tom. This is the round. This is the buy round for Big. This is what they need to kind of get done. This is kind of like the thing on the checking list, on the to-do list for this one. They need to string a couple of these rounds together. They need to show something more. And we're going to start off by seeing Keto getting shot out with an AWP. Double entry with the AWP from Crucial. That's perfect. Bomb side is completely
British today.
Yeah, the bomb is on the other side of the map, but still.
Yeah, I know that the Netherlands don't have too many top-tier pro players, but I'm sorry, we're taking this one and claiming him for our own. Searson is going to manage to catch Robin trying to lurk around the back lines. It at least gives them a small chance in this round, but by the looks of it, they have just opted to save the weaponry. Not really worth the risk. The loss bonus for them is at least going to be at a reasonable level, so they should have enough cash to at least drop a couple of weapons over for the next round, but Endpoint are getting ever closer here.
Down 14 now, and as we also see the nades saved on Big, we know that they can get some decent drops going, so a good buy in the next round will be ensured as well. Money's not really an issue on the T side now with surviving with 4 players, so they can keep this one going. And we need to see something from Big right now, or else this map is going to be toast. So what do they have in store? This is as well.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it as well. Like, we've had a few moments from Crucial, but a lot of them haven't necessarily been off the back of that AWP. So to see him get a double entry into the B site is impressive, but it looks like he's going back for more. They're trying to go for the wallbang just to deny that presence, not allowing them to take so much control onto this B site once again. However, it does leave some holes in the defense, and they've had to get more aggressive. In fact, on both sides of the map, they're going to leave Tizian pushed up. You've got Searson trying to take the fight into middle. It's looking like Big are almost just saying, okay, well, clearly on a strategical level at the moment on Vertigo, we can't take them down. Where can we beat them? Okay, we can beat them on an individual level, so let's go for the fights. And a bomb has been spotted, but Robin is ready. He's prepared for Searson to be around that corner. That is such an important kill. Otherwise, this round could have really been a race to the finish for Endpoint.
1 minute to go. Centaur's ready with the smoke, but him and Tizian will have to do a monumental job of stopping this terrace side. The smoke is too deep. Like, they have no idea. Now they know because of that counter smoke coming in from Mighty Max. They know that they're close. Crucial is down to 4. Mighty Max is burning a bit, but they still have 40 seconds to go and 2 smokes to get into towards the bomb site. This is definitely still doable. The rotation comes in. It's going to be towards B, and it's going to be Keto to defend. Nate goes in, good damage, but can he get the kill? No, the flashbang timing is once again perfect.
Okay, Crucial's just started to wreck everybody with this AWP. And I want to point out as well, Robin was quite far behind Thomas at one point. I think he's only like a kill or two behind now. But I think he's on 24 kills. Like, he's had some huge rounds, this being one of them. 3K for the Swede, or as we would say, the Brit in this scenario. And yeah, that's going to be a 15th. There's nothing Zontaras can do. And unless somehow he ends up getting a ninja defuse, in which case, although this is the first map of the day, I am going to peace out because that is just not possible. And even trying to retrieve an extra gun, he's going to be left dead as well. 15 to 11. Endpoint having a stellar T side once things stabilized. And this kill was everything because that was the bomb in the hands of their opponent. We talk about how hostage maps don't get into the main map pool. Well, they would have had one there. They would have had to go and retrieve the bomb and then try and plant it somewhere in a very small amount of time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Robin is on 25 right now, same as Thomas. Thomas has 10 assists though, so he's definitely done more damage, but still impressive from Robin, impressive from the Swede. And not a lot of utility right now for the CT side. They've invested everything they got, but Big Clan with a big problem.
Of course, this is the choice of Endpoint. It is worth mentioning that, but even still, the #1 team in the world against the current ranked 42. As said, I do think that's a little bit harsh for the way.
And I have to say, like, Big are not a bad Vertigo team in my book. They're a pretty decent Vertigo team. They've beaten some great teams on it. But this is very well structured from Endpoint. Now, we see Keita with the first one. Nice flashbang timing. Tabson holding the mid. Maybe this is what they needed. Just some early aggressive fragging, and then they can build off that. Zontaras jump peeking around and will get to safety. Holding two angles and letting his teammate control the AWP. Very nicely. Put that. Crucial. AWP in play. No problem. Perfect round from Big.
I love how it's the round where they have next to no grenades.
Yeah, of course. And they're forced to play aggressive.
Flawlessly. They also went for a double AWP setup, which is something we haven't witnessed so far. Now, a lot of the time, especially if it's not something that I see within a team strategy, I almost look at a double AWP setup as like a last hurrah. Like, okay, a lot of stuff we haven't been doing is working, so let's just try and outfrag them. And to be fair, it worked! That's so fast through the edge of the smoke, although I do feel like that's a little bit misleading. He definitely saw who he was shooting at. So that's one hell of a start, and well, we talk about the best of the best being able to bring back any scenario. Endpoint cannot get complacent here. They give too much over to Big, and we're looking at overtime, and wow, that Molotov.
Yeah, missed Molotov from Thomas. They have two left, so it's not like a catastrophe, but still. Zontaras on the edge of the smoke. He's going to duel around it. Flashbang timing is great. It's actually going to get like flashed from Crucial, so a team flash in this sense, but I'm pretty sure there was a CT flash in there as well. Citizen through the smoke, and once more it's going to be back-to-back rounders from Big. We said they needed to string some of them together. I didn't quite imagine it being this late in the game, but we'll just have to take what we can get. Citizen, 3K.
I'm scared, Risk.
Yeah, this is going to be an OT.
No, don't say that. This would crush my dreams. Like,
no, yeah, this is going to be an OT.
No, they're going to win 16-14.
Nah,
I believe. I believe.
Tom, we've made it all the way through the break. This is the first game of real CS. We need to start off with an overtime.
Coming home.
Deagle from Surreal, though. And that is quite surreal.
Let's go. We got Searson trying to hold the line. He's going to get pressured. He's getting overwhelmed. It's a co-op kill. And things are falling apart for Big. I said 16-14. Maybe I was off by one. As now Tizian, the quietest member of the Big roster so far, has got to try and clutch out this 1v3 to keep them in the map. It would be one hell of a time for the German to wake up. Robin, he's checking between two angles. The timing could work out, but he gets a no-scope headshot. What? Okay.